The sun beat down fiercely on the asphalt deck, but the air was thick with the scent of salt, sweat, and cheap perfume. I stood rigid at the back of the crowded bleachers, my hands tightly clasped, watching my brother Brandon approach the stage. He was the picture of military perfection in his crisp uniform. He leaned into the microphone, his voice booming with fake humility. "I want to thank everyone, especially my family, for supporting me through BUD/S, he announced, pausing dramatically. Then his eyes, cold and smug, met mine across the crowd. "And thank you to my sister for showing me what a lack of commitment looks like. It gave me the fire to finish." My family swore I was a Navy dropout and he had just used his career peak to confirm the lie to hundreds of strangers. A deep, cold fury, sharper than any knife, sliced through my chest, burning away the last of my hope for them. What the hell just happened to her? The public humiliation was absolute, designed to wound me in the deepest way. I am Valerie, 26 years old. I was the first in my family to join the Navy, eager and dedicated, but I was also the one they publicly rejected. My family swore I was a Navy dropout. I stood silent at my brother's SEAL ceremony, then his general. Years ago, I suffered a debilitating, temporary knee injury during advanced training. My career was halted, but only briefly. My parents, Teresa and Paul, frantic that their perfect military family image would be ruined, allowed Brandon to spread the lie that I had dropped out due to emotional weakness. I was the family shame. Brandon was the golden hero whose every breath was celebrated. I stood there, watching the crowd applaud his cruel joke, the heat of the sun doing nothing to thaw the ice around my heart. As Brandon launched into a lengthy, self-congratulatory speech filled with false modesty, I forced my mind away from the sharp pain of his words. I focused on his uniform, a habit ingrained from my years of intense training. My eyes, trained to catch minute details, snagged on something small and off. His security clearance ribbon, the small, specific device that showed high-level background vetting, was pinned just slightly too low, and the backing looked suspiciously thin. It was a subtle flaw, but it whispered of rushed or improperly handled paperwork. The realization sparked a cold, strategic thought. If they lied about my record to make him look good, what did he lie about to make himself look good? After his speech, my parents, Teresa and Paul, waded through the crowd toward me, their faces etched with relief that the dropout hadn't caused a scene. "See, darling," Teresa whispered, patting my arm with cold pity, her eyes already scanning the crowd for important people. It was good for Brandon to have a challenge to overcome, even if it was family shame. They then turned instantly to their friends, reiterating loudly how hard it was for Brandon to overcome the family burden. The lie was institutionalized, repeated until they believed it themselves, drowning out my reality. Suddenly, the buzz in the crowd increased. I looked toward the official viewing stand. The guest of honor had arrived, a distinguished, high-ranking officer. I stiffened. My heart leaped, not with fear, but with a sudden electrifying hope that made my hands clench. The officer was Rear Admiral Fitzwilliam, a man I knew very well. Fitzwilliam had been my commanding officer during my secret assignment years ago. Our eyes met briefly across the deck. There was a brief, profound, knowing look between us, a silent acknowledgement of our shared past and my true, secret status. The crowd quieted, eager to hear the Admiral speak. I mentally reviewed the truth of my dropout status. My medical discharge was real, but only for active combat duty. Due to my unique photographic memory and complex tactical mapping skills, I was immediately recruited into a specialized, covert unit within naval intelligence. I was quietly reinstated as a lieutenant, a rank I had surpassed years ago, a secret career I kept from everyone, including the Navy database visible to family members. The dropout lie had served as the perfect, undisturbed cover. Brandon, now surrounded by admiring family friends, was practically preening. I slipped closer, pretending to examine the nearby flags. "Yeah, there was a minor issue," he boasted, casually dismissing a past incident. "A stupid bar fight in San Diego. But the paperwork got cleared quickly. Didn't even slow down my clearance." His arrogance was blinding. A bar fight resulting in charges would absolutely torpedo an applicant's security clearance for BUD/S. Brandon hadn't just gotten lucky, he'd actively hidden or falsified the record, a federal offense. I knew the lie was specific. The timing of the clearance matched the subtle flaw in his ribbon. I slipped away to a quiet corner, pulling out my secure military phone. I sent a cryptic official message to a highly trusted contact on Admiral Fitzwilliam's security staff. My message was short, professional, and targeted. Ref. Bud/SG-27. Requesting urgent verification of MP Report 407/15 clearance status. I signed it only with my current covert unit code. The official inquiry, started by the very person they mocked, was now underway. Just as I returned to the viewing area, Teresa grabbed my arm, her manicured nails digging into my skin with panicked strength. "You are making a spectacle. Go wait in the car, Valerie. Your failure is going to ruin this perfect day," she hissed, trying hysterically to pull me away from the sight of the Admiral. I gently but firmly detached my arm, maintaining a calm, unreadable expression. "I am standing right here, Mother," I said, my voice quiet but firm. Her desperate attempt to control me in public only made her look frantic to the uniformed personnel nearby. Minutes later, my secure phone vibrated. A coded text message arrived from the security staffer. Verification status. Falsified. Report 407/15 was flagged and then manually overridden. Security audit commencing. The fraud was confirmed and official. Brandon's coveted SEAL status was a lie built on a direct, serious violation of military protocol and integrity. The only question now was how to ensure the final, absolute exposure in front of the people who mattered most, the naval brass and my family. I decided I must attend the smaller, more intimate pinning ceremony that immediately followed the main address. This was the highest stakes stage, where the military hierarchy was most focused. I chose my attire meticulously, a simple, deep navy dress, a quiet but perfectly tailored garment that conveyed dignity and seriousness. I was no longer fighting for my reputation in the family dining room. I was defending my honor in the presence of the U.S. Navy's elite. As I entered the smaller hall, Brandon approached me, his smile fake and strained, his eyes darting nervously. "It's hard to be here, I know," he said, feigning sympathy. "But try not to cause a scene, sis. This is my day. Just be proud, okay?" His forced sincerity was the final arrogant taunt, fueled by his certainty that I was powerless. I met his gaze, my expression unreadable. "I wouldn't miss it for the world, Brandon," I replied, the truth of my words completely lost on his narcissistic ego. Admiral Fitzwilliam took the stage. He swept his eyes over the small gathering of family and officers. When he reached me, he paused, his gaze sharp and direct. He gave me a subtle, almost imperceptible nod, a silent sign that my message was received, the security check was complete, and the strategic forces were now fully in place. The long, agonizing wait was finally over. The pinning ceremony started. Brandon stood rigidly at attention, his chest puffed out with narcissistic pride, every muscle straining to project perfection. Admiral Fitzwilliam began his official remarks, praising the dedication and integrity of the SEAL candidates. The atmosphere was solemn, celebratory, and entirely focused on Brandon's impending triumph. Just as the Admiral reached for the ceremonial trident pin, the ultimate symbol of a SEAL, he stopped. His hand froze in mid-air. He slowly turned away from Brandon, scanning the small crowd. His eyes landed directly on me, holding my gaze. The entire room, including my shocked parents, turned their focus from the golden boy on the stage to the dropout in the back row. Admiral Fitzwilliam addressed the small audience, his voice calm, firm, and official. "Ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed with this very important moment, I have a duty to recognize someone else here today. Integrity is the backbone of the U.S. Navy." He looked directly at me. The silence in the room was crushing, the tension so thick you could taste it. Then, the Admiral uttered the words that destroyed the family's lie forever. I see a former colleague and friend in the audience. I believe some of you know her as someone who left the Navy. Allow me to formally introduce Lieutenant Commander Valerie, last name, currently serving as Naval Intelligence's Special Operations Liaison. The title, the superior rank, the high-stakes unit, it all slammed into my parents and Brandon like a physical blow. My mother's hand flew to her mouth in utter shock. Brandon's smug, arrogant expression completely shattered. His mouth dropped open, and his eyes darted to mine in sheer, blinding terror. He realized Valerie wasn't just not a dropout, she held a superior rank and served in a far more specialized, covert unit than his own. His victory was now a complete and public nightmare built on his own falsehoods. The Admiral's expression turned sharp, professional, and chilling. He turned back to Brandon and, in a severe official tone that cut through the silence, announced, "Due to newly surfaced and significant security clearance irregularities, the awarding of the Trident pin and subsequent promotion for Brandon's full name is temporarily halted pending a full and immediate security investigation." His career was immediately frozen and jeopardized on the most important day of his life. Admiral Fitzwilliam named the charge, making it brutally official. The investigation is being launched by Naval Intelligence regarding the potential fraudulent manipulation of background screening documentation. The entire room knew that this meant the end of his career. The official, public exposure of Brandon's serious lie, delivered by the highest authority present, was a victory of poetic justice. Teresa and Paul lost all control. They rushed the stage, screaming about a mistake and family jealousy, trying hysterically to protect Brandon and deny the reality. Their uncontrolled public panic only confirmed the serious nature of the situation and their own history of deceit to the entire gathering of high-ranking officers and naval families. I let the chaos envelop them completely. I made eye contact with Brandon one last time. He was pale, trembling, and ruined. I gave a small, cold, professional salute to Admiral Fitzwilliam, acknowledging his perfect execution, and quietly walked out of the ceremony, leaving the wreckage and the humiliated family to face the military police who were now approaching the stage. Weeks later, I received the official update. Brandon was formally discharged from the Navy for fraudulently manipulating his security clearance and lying to command. His naval career was over before it began. Separately, my promotion to the rank of commander was confirmed. The rise was complete. The destruction was absolute. I received a desperate, pleading voicemail from my mother, Teresa, recorded late one night. She was sobbing, begging me to use my new admiral friends and my important rank to help Brandon clear his name. She still didn't understand the true nature of integrity, my power, or the depth of Brandon's fault. She thought this was a social problem, not a criminal one. I stood at my desk, looking out over the naval yard. I deleted the message without replying. I accepted my commander promotion, fully embracing my high-stakes, specialized career. My greatest loyalty was finally and forever to my own hard-earned integrity, not to the toxic family that had tried to bury me in a lie. My rank, Commander Valerie, last name, was my final undeniable statement of triumph. If you've made it this far, you understand, respect is non-negotiable. My worth wasn't defined by Brandon's cruel speech or who my parents believed. My story proves that silence can be a weapon, and strategic patience is power, especially when they try to dismiss your entire military career as a dropout. If this resonated with you, if you've been gaslit into invisibility or had your credentials stolen, share it. Tell them, your silence doesn't make you weak, it means you're operating with a higher security clearance. Your boundaries don't make you difficult. Your survival makes you extraordinary. Because the revolution happens when you decide to write your own ending. Your rank was never in question. It was only ever waiting for the Rear Admiral to speak. Have you ever had to prove your worth to a family that underestimated you? Share your story in the comments below and don't forget to like and subscribe.